Senator Nicely, you're next with Senate Resolution 61. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. We SJR 0061 is we're asking the U.S. House Representative to return a document that they got from our archives back in 1976. And we have, if we could go into recess, we have John Emerson, who has written a book on the Martin Luther King assassination, which will be out here by the 1st of April. And he is a nephew of Harry Avery, who was Commissioner of Safety under, I guess, Ellington. And if we could let him tell this story, it's a very interesting story. We won't take too much time.
Okay, let's see if there's a motion on the resolution first. As he comes forward, please come forward, Mr. Emerson. That's moved by Senator Bell. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gardenhire. And then we will, if there's no objection, we'll go into recess. If Mr. Emerson, if you don't mind, come down front, please. We reserve this for senators only. And then if you could just make sure that the green light is brightly lit and state your name and any position for the record. And then we appreciate your being here and providing us with testimony. So we are in recess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Avery Emison. I live in Alamo, Tennessee, and I'm a constituent of Senator Finney, who I haven't had the honor of meeting yet. I retired year before last, having been a constituent of Senator Campfield for a number of years. I'm an author, and I've written a book on the King assassination. The title of it is The MLK Congressional Cover-Up, The Railroading of James Earl Ray. And my great uncle, Harry Avery, was Commissioner of Corrections back in the 1960s under Governor Clement, and then following under Governor Ellington, and was the commissioner when Ray pleaded guilty in Memphis and was transported to the state penitentiary. Harry Avery had been an arson investigator for 30 years, and by nature was a very curious person, and began his own self-authorized investigation. He interviewed Ray several times, took notes, and kept copies of Ray's incoming and outgoing correspondence. This became an issue with Governor Ellington, who subsequently fired him. But before he was fired, he was investigated by the TBI. And we know from news stories and from statements of the governor's office back in the day, in the Banner, as well as it was the Nashville Tennessean at the time, that the director of the TBI reviewed all of the notes that were taken of the interviews of Ray, and as well as all of the correspondence of the first couple of months that Ray had been incarcerated. This became important after Governor Ellington fired Harry Avery and then subsequently left office in 71 at completing his term. In 1976, when the U.S. House Representatives enabled the House Select Committee on Assassinations, Avery contacted that committee, and they sent investigators down, and the document that the TBI, the report the TBI wrote, then was submitted to the governor and placed in the state archives after he left office. 5 years later, the House Select Committee got a copy of this report. The problem is, it's a state of Tennessee generated document. It's property, I think, of our state. It was in the archives because Governor Ellington not only left office, he was dead by then. And the House Select Committee has taken this document and placed it under seal for 50 years, beginning in 1979, so we won't see it until 2029. further, the problem is this document is no longer in the state archives. So this resolution would be appealing to the good sense of the Congress to make a copy of this document. If they want to keep theirs under seal, they can keep it under seal, but return it to the Tennessee Secretary of State from which it originated so that it be available once again in our archives.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there questions, Mr. Emerson? Thank you very much. Is there, Ms. Beck, I apologize for putting you on the spot. Any testimony that the TBI would like to give on this subject? None whatsoever. And would this document be available publicly? No, it would not. Okay. All right. And Senator Nicely, would it, under the text of your resolution, does a copy also go to the members of our Tennessee delegation? Congressional delegation, that is, our 2 U.S. senators and our 9.
I'm not sure. We'll let legal glance at it there and see.
Well, you may or may not want that language in there, but if not, I hope that you would personally share it with those. I'm sure you know them all.
Well, we won't get it back. They won't give it. We're just aggravating them. They're not going to send us this thing back. There's no telling what it says. I mean, it could blow the lid on this whole thing. Who knows? I mean, they come down, they get a copy of our document, and then mysteriously our document that's in our archives disappears, along with several other cases that disappearing documents in this whole case. I'll put a plug in for John's book. I haven't read it, but he's told me about it as it goes. It's going to be a very interesting book. I think you'd probably all like to read the book. John interviewed James Earl Ray in prison different times, so did. So it's going to be an interesting book. Well, I would like to have this document back. I'd like to know what it says before 2029.
Well, I would very much like to have it back as a resident of the city of Memphis, because we have the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, which is very interested in the answer to this question, and I would love to have that document there and available for all Tennesseans and all
maybe you can think of
people in the world to view.
Can put more pressure on them. If you can think of a way to put more pressure on Congress, there's no reason for them to hoard this thing. We gave it to them in the first place. Then ours mysteriously disappeared. We'd just like to have a copy of it back.
Well, under the language of your resolution, it does go to the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Speaker Boehner right now, and then the Clerk of the U.S. House of Representatives. I just hope that you would personally also share it with the 9 members of our Tennessee delegation so that we can get them fighting for it. I can see someone like Representative Cohen, for example, who represents the National Civil Rights
Cohen would be a
potentially helping us out on this issue. Any further discussion? Objection? Okay, we're back in session, and is there objection to the question? Seeing none, the question is put. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll. The motion on this is to the Calendar Committee on SR 61.
Senator Bell? Aye. Votes aye. Senator Cantfield? Votes aye. Senator Finney? Senator Ford? Senator Gardenhire? Votes aye. Senator Green? Votes aye. Senator Overby? Votes aye. Senator Stevens? Votes aye. Chairman Kelsey?
Aye.
Votes aye, Mr. Chairman. 7 ayes, no nays.
7 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I'll have one number 10. If we could hear number 10, I'd leave 43 till next week. That would turn me loose for the evening.
And that would be great, but we are keeping with Chairman Curtis Person's tradition in here and going in order, unfortunately.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.